Hi everybody, it's time for vlog number 4. So this week in the Culture Centers book, the Culture Centers in Higher Education, that book, it was focused on the black culture or African American culture, and I thought, this is something that we really need to take as a serious discussion in all of our readings, because the history that we have with the tension between, especially in the African American culture with our school, with the walkout that happened a long time ago to, even this last year we had a big issue, we had lots of issues with the blackout, and that's something that, it shouldn't still be happening, and the fact that it is, I think we need to take this this subject as a big, as a serious deal. Not that any of them aren't serious, but this is something that, hits close to home as far as Oregon State. The one thing I think is interesting when I was reading this is that, it's very similar for every section or every, chapters we read, whether it be Native American, Asian American. We all pretty much have a same goal, and I think that's great because that's why we are diversity development, and we're not, just the BCC is its own section, and just the NAL is its own section. We're diversity development, and that's because even though we represent, numerous cultures, they all kind of have the same goal. While they have different struggles and, different qualities, things like that, yeah, I know, but, so I liked how it talked about how, we need to support, we need to stand up for each other, and that it's a home away from home, which is, again, coming back to the point that all the readings, they all have, similar meanings, not 100%, but they all have similar points, I guess would be the best to say. The other thing I really liked, which I know they do this for everything, but I want to reiterate it again, was that all the culture centers that it lists at the end, I mean, that's awesome, because you don't necessarily know, unless you read this book, or unless you do research about it, how many culture centers there really are. And, so that makes me feel great about the country as it's moving along. Let's see here. Whew. So, and I remember it said, I was talking about like standing up and standing tall, and I thought that's a good message, and how like the black cultural centers, they're still a very fluid thing, I guess you could say, because there's still so much tension is what I feel like the problem is, that, there shouldn't be that tension still, and I know there is, and I know there's not a lot that we ourselves can do about it, but we can help. And I think that's kind of, I have a different take on it probably than most people do, but I feel like that's kind of more the issue than having to stand together and having to make people understand our culture. It's just the fact that people don't want to still, It seems like it seems like, in my point of view, the African American culture receives a lot more racism from what I've witnessed in today's culture. I feel like a lot of people kind of accept Native Americans. Well, I know they're still racist about there are people who are racist to every single race. I know that just as much as anybody, but I just feel like that is what the biggest thing comes from. That's why they have to stand together. That's why it has to be a home away from home. Moving on, because I don't want to take forever like I usually do. The students helping students, it was talking about like group and group process C and things like that, and I think that's a really good thing, because it's a lot, in my opinion, you always make a better decision when somebody else or some other people, more than one, have helped you make that decision. I thought it was key that in the students helping students, it said that groups are interactive and members have to declare themselves a group, and it gave a big long list of all the things that you actually have to do to be a technical member, and I thought that was a good thing, because a lot of people, like, for example, if you sign up to be in a club, if you don't do anything for that club, then you're not a group member. I mean, you might be signed up, but, you're really not. Let's see here. The other thing I liked was the little Venn diagram it had, the communicator to the receiver, and in between the communicator and the receiver was, ideas and and communication, and everything you could think, questions, topics, like that's where everything comes together. Because one person might say something, another person's receiving something, and where they meet is where everything happens. And I thought that was a great, kind of tied back into the groups great, because more than one person's going to have ideas, more than one person's going to be listening to other ideas, and then when they all mesh together is where one great thing happens. The big thing I thought about the group was that is something we need to work on more. I feel like a lot of the things that are decided at our centers are decided from one or two people higher up, and it might not be the truth, but from my perspective, that's what it has felt like. And I know that my goal as being external coordinator is that when I am an external coordinator, I'm going to do as much as I can to make decisions a full group process. I don't want it to just be me and the internal all the time. I know there are cases where it should just be me and the internal, or me and the internal and the GTA, and I understand that. But at the same point, there are a lot of times where I don't feel like the other staff members are being included in things that they should be included. And so this group, working as a group and understanding group process, is very important to me. I was happy with this reading. It made me think about a lot of things in a different way, and it helped me with making my goals for next year. All right, I will see you next week.